Shalom, Yashala Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh. I do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Yasharallah. Kol Holoyim La Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Harakha Kodash, for blessing our elders with the spirit of truth so that we may know. Shout out to the Akim and the Akwaf that's keeping the faith in the work. Shall keep at it. It's your brother Abaya coming at you with more precepts. It's the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16 and verse 17. It says, Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. All right, the daughter of Babylon is constantly falling, man. I'm talking about constantly falling. The finances of this place are the plan that they had to try to bounce back real quick, it didn't work. The experiment to hold the dollar or hold interest rates at a certain in a certain place, it didn't work. The promise that the inflation would go away and recession would be halted, all lies, right? And basically, economic leaders are predicting 2023 so-called to be one hell of a year, right? Because Asia or China and Russia have been real life taking blows at the daughter of Babylon's financial system. And the daughter of Babylon been trying to fight back with the different sanctions, right? They real deal tried to do a heavy blow with the Ukraine war, but none of it is working, right? And it's all because it's time, man. It's time. That's all. It's just time. It's time for this kingdom to fall. This purpose is almost fulfilled. So there is no more need for it to stand. Right, so without further ado, I'm gonna let a soundbite play from this channel Redacted on YouTube. Like I said, I don't like actually playing everybody's video because a lot of times when I do that, I end up getting a strike and the video end up getting taken down. So I gotta, kind of play it with wisdom, so that the information can come out. So without further ado.
The internet is obsessing right before our eyes here in Something big is happening right before our eyes here in 2023, and almost no one is talking about it.
So the stocks that everybody owns are going down, and the stocks that nobody owns except a few people are going way up, and they're going up in relative obscurity.
The moves that Chinese President Xi Jinping and Russian President Vladimir Putin are making, which are completely going to alter the international power structure and the monetary system, and the mainstream media is largely ignoring it. And the Washington, of course, is asleep at the wheel, dealing with all of the crybaby drama over Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House, or they're worried about which NFL team is making the playoffs. But very smart people are paying attention. Very smart multi-million-dollar investors that I've been speaking with know exactly what's coming.
And I think 2023 could end up being one of the weakest years ever for the U.S. dollar.
The new monetary world order under Russian President Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping. It's unfolding exactly as we're predicting over the past year, with major indicators in the past few hours. So I want to get to all of these new stunning pieces of news right now. But first, this morning, we just had a bomb go off, and we knew that this was coming. And Putin knew that this was coming. You have warmongers Condoleezza Rice and Robert Gates, just published a brand new article in the Washington Post calling for all-out war against Russia. I love that the Washington Post just gives them a platform to spew this agenda, but it comes directly from the intelligence intelligence state, then the Washington Post publishes it, and this, of course, is the new marching orders for the neoconservatives in Washington and Democrats. They're all on board with this. The article is called "Time is Not on Ukraine's Side," and it's a direct call to action to send a massive buildup of weapons and forces to fight Russia. Now, remember, Condoleezza Rice is a war criminal whose illegal war in Iraq led to the deaths of millions of people. That's on her resume. And then she's been calling for a war with Russia for over a decade now. Here she is 8 years ago laying out how Russia is trying to change the unipolar order.
And when great powers start behaving badly, it gets really dangerous. We have now, I think, a very dangerous, perfect storm between a leader who is unreconciled to the post-war, post-Cold War order in Europe, willing to use a combination of economic pressure, military force, intimidation, and surrogates to get his way to try to undo that order.
So Condoleezza Rice has been pushing for a confrontation with Putin for a very long time. Her words should not be taken lightly. We now have a new bloodthirsty Congress with a new Speaker of the House last night, Kevin McCarthy, the guy who literally wears a Ukrainian flag pin and had dinner with Klaus Schwab and promised to fund an endless war in Ukraine last week. So if you don't think for a second that crap is about to hit the fan, then you are not paying attention. Maybe a lot of people are still in their Christmas fog and they're, still drunk or hungover. I don't know. But stuff's about to get serious. Even deeper in this Washington Post piece is the very important paragraph about minerals and precious metals that I want to call your attention to. So if you needed any more evidence that this is a war about power and mineral resources, natural resources, here you go. There are two important paragraphs that I want to point out. So here's what Condoleezza Rice and Bob Gates say, quote, "For Putin, defeat is not an option. He cannot cede to Ukraine the 4 eastern provinces that he has declared part of Russia. If he cannot be militarily successful this year, he must retain control of positions in eastern and southern Ukraine that provide future jumping-off points for renewed offensives to take the rest of Ukraine's Black Sea coast, control the entire Donbas region, and then move west. 8 years separated Russia's seizure of Crimea and its invasion nearly a year ago. Count on Putin to be patient to achieve his destiny," they write. So she knows Russia can't lose. And here's the important section that she mentions briefly. Quote, "Meanwhile, although Ukraine's response to the invasion has been heroic and its military has performed brilliantly, the country's economy is in shambles, millions of its people have fled, its infrastructure is being destroyed, and much of its mineral wealth, industrial capacity, and considerable agriculture land are under Russia's control." Forget the agriculture piece of this. It's the mineral wealth. It might be the most important part of this entire article. She sneaks it in quickly. Lithium, gold, iron ore, uranium, all under Putin's control. That's what this is all about.
Notice he said lithium. He said a lot. Right. I'm keying in on lithium. Lithium is the thing that is basically in all batteries, right? Smart cars, right? Your electronics, whatever. If you got a battery in it, it's lithium in it, and apparently Ukraine has a lot of it. And right? So now, mind you, all of this is also tied into a central banking digital currency, right? Because it's literally tied into the currency of things, the finances, whether it be the daughter of Babylon's or Russia's or whatever, right? And it's also dealing with what? Electronics, semiconductors, right? The micro C's, right? All of this, we can clearly see, right? The paper fiat dollar being taken out of the way, and all forms of distractions being thrown our way, like he was saying about, the Speaker of the House and who gonna make it to the playoffs in the NFL, so forth and so on. All these different distractions being thrown our way to keep our eyes off of what's really going on, right? And what's really going on is World War III. The threat of it never ceased, right? And it's just shifting from country to country to country, right? From North Korea to China, from China to Russia, from Russia to Iran, right? It's just shifting from country to country, which means all of the countries are being gathered together for this war. And this war is way bigger than, don't think this got anything to do with the liberty of a people. It ain't got nothing to do with that. It got everything to do with control of resources. Because whoever controls these new resources that are now a major commodity, right, including the old, such as gold, things of such, whoever has control of that basically controls the new world. And it looked like the daughter of Babylon is not grasping like they wanted to grip, right? The reins of this thing is leaving their hands. But the world can't understand. It ain't going into no other heathens' hands, man. Stage getting prepared for the Most High's people to reign supreme once again, but this time forever and never, even forever. Yahweh finna get his world over to us. We see it, right? But hey, the majority of the Most High's people can't see it. They don't believe, so it is what it is, right? But it's a lot. 1 second.
So her solution? Quote, the only way to avoid such a scenario is for the United States and its allies to urgently provide Ukraine with a dramatic increase in military supplies and capability, sufficient to deter a renewed Russian offensive and to enable Ukraine to push back Russian forces in the east and the south. Oh, okay. So as she says, the only way for this to end is for the United States to dramatically ramp up the war and push Russian forces out of eastern Ukraine and back into mainland Russia. Okay. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, right? Nothing to see here. Ukraine's army has been destroyed. So the people that would be doing this fighting are NATO forces, i.e. American forces, UK forces, French forces. So in other words, the United States doesn't have the mineral resources to compete any longer, and the only way to compete globally is to go to war with Russia over these resources in eastern Ukraine. The United States has 0 lithium mines in the United States, no uranium drilling in the United States for nuclear, nothing. The other piece of this is China. So you think China is going to stand by and allow the United States to grab all of these minerals? No, they're not. They're making deals right now as we speak with Russia for these minerals. In fact, China is already doing 3 things. A massive increase in military spending, a massive increase in gold buying, and a massive deal that they just struck with the Saudis after Joe Biden failed to do so. Biden's trip to Saudi Arabia was mocked as a joke. Xi Jinping's visit was praised as a milestone, a total FU to the United States.
Now, that's also a testament to what's going on between China and Taiwan and why the daughter of Babylon is so interested in defending Taiwan under the guise of democracy, right? Anytime they want to take over a place and they want to put their foot on the people's throat and basically control an area, they always throw democracy in there like it's Captain Planet or something, right? So they can send democracy over there and free the people and at the same time take control of the politics of that place, so that in future endeavors, if at all they need that country to speak on behalf of the daughter of Babylon, they'll have a person in play. And China ain't having it because everybody already know the plots of the daughter of Babylon, because this ain't nothing new. They've been doing it. They've been doing that. That was the whole so-called Middle Eastern wars thing. That's what it was all about. Right? It had nothing to do with people. It had nothing to do with, we feel so bad that they been ruled over by a dictator. They don't care nothing about none of that. It's about them having a say-so in somebody else's land. That's why they got military bases all over this world. That represents control. And the world tired of it, man. Right? Even the daughter of Babylon's own allies are tired of it. It just ain't reached the full-fledged point of being tired of it like it's spoken of in Revelation chapter 17. But it's going to get there. We see in the beginning stages of it now. Right?
So late last year, we noticed that there was a massive mystery buyer of gold and other precious metals. Who was buying up all of the world's gold? Well, we found out just a few days ago who it was. It was, in fact, China. The mystery buyer, we now know, was China, had bought some 300 tons of gold, roughly 3/4 of what would be a record 399 tons of central bank gold purchases in the third quarter. Here's the stunning chart. So that's just China. What about Russia? Stockpiling gold. Look at Russia's reserves of gold. Why? Why are both China and Russia stockpiling precious metals? Well, Nikkei analysts have an answer. China and other countries are hurrying to reduce dependence on the U.S. dollar. Now, this is just one of the reasons gold prices hit a 6-month high this past week. The U.S. dollar is in trouble as a reserve currency of the world. And then on top of all of this, we had another bomb go off over the last few days.
Skip the wait. Get money fast with a...
This bomb was big, and it went viral in the financial world. The head of the Kansas Federal Reserve, Esther George, set off this bomb. Now, let me give you some context about Esther here and tell you what she said. Esther George is a highly respected member of the Fed, Fed president. She's been on this job for a long time now, I think 40 years, and she's retiring. She is wrapping up her tenure. So she doesn't give a rat's behind about what politicians think of her. She's gone. She's not looking for another job, okay? She's out the door very soon. So she's speaking the truth. I love when people like this aren't afraid anymore. They're unfettered, because that's when the good stuff comes out. So more context here. The Kansas Fed is the Center for Research, meaning this is the Fed that we go to see what the real numbers are showing us. They have these numbers. They do the heavy lifting. So Esther George was interviewed on CNBC, and here is the bomb that she dropped.
We understand that high inflation is going to require our action. So we have been moving our forecast up to higher levels. You saw that in the most recent dot plot that came out in December. And I think holding that until we get confidence that inflation is actually coming down is really the message we're trying to put out there.
I don't really have to ask you this question because I've got a 17 out of 19 chance of being right. You're over 5% when it comes to your outlook for the funds rate in 2020.
I have raised my forecast over 5%.
Could you tell us where you are? I don't remember if you're one of the folks that tells us that.
Well, I think I'll be over 5%, and I see staying there for some time.
Is that well into 2024?
It is for me.
Wow.
Wow. Did you catch that? So let me paraphrase. The experiment is over, basically. It failed. Low interest rates, kept artificially low by the Fed, was a failure. And inflation is going to stay high for the foreseeable future, well into 2024 and beyond. And
Man, the price of everything is about to continue to rise. Don't be fooled by what you're seeing at the gas pump, man. Everybody based the economy solely on that. When they ride by a gas station, then they see how much gas costs. In some states, it's through the roof and climbing. In some states, it's not. In Alabama, it's not really that high, right? And that brings a false sense of security. But when you take your ass inside that store and you start purchasing different goods, you see the price of things is going up. It's going to continue to go up. That's basically what they're saying. The experiment that they tried to create a quick bounce back, it didn't work. So they're going to have to continue to raise up rates. 2023 going to be something else, man. And all of this is also tied into World War III and tied into Revelation 13. And it will ultimately be tied into 2 Ezra chapter 15. Because the people are not going to be able to take it, man. Dig this. You already got people that's working paycheck to paycheck. You already struggling, right? Some people working 2 jobs. Some people working 3. At the end of the day, you're still struggling because 9 times out of 10, you work 2, 3 jobs. That means you got a whole lot of responsibility. Meaning you got a whole lot of mouths to feed, right? And they telling you that it's about to get worse. All right.
Thinks the Fed needs to raise interest rates, keep them over 5% interest rates. Party time is over. No more cheap money, No more 0% loans, no more cheap mortgages, no more cheap car loans. She thinks that this is the best and only way to fix the problem. Keep interest rates high. Stop printing fake money and giving out money to Wall Street with 0% interest. And if that's not enough of a kick in the nuts, yesterday, former Obama Treasury Secretary Larry Summers says that we need to start laying people off, firing people in order to deal with this inflation problem. That's the only way to do it. All of this fake money. And he issued this statement laying people off from his beach resort with palm trees in the background. Watch.
They explicitly recognize that there's going to need to be increases in unemployment to contain inflation.
So he's at a beach resort telling you that you need to get ready for layoffs. You're going to lose your job because...
That's crazy as hell, man. So on top of them raising up rates, the price of everything going up, they suggesting laying people off. So unemployment is about to go through the roof, right? So that they can maintain a certain level. Hey, man, this place is done. Get your hope out this place, man. Right? If you continue to hope in this place, the hope you have in this world, the hope that you have in the daughter of Babylon will destroy you. You are not in the loop. You are not a part of the 1%. You are not a part of these rich ass families that make the decisions for this earth. You just heard that man say, the dude that said, and I just saw it on the video, dude just said that he was at a resort. Looked like in Hawaii somewhere chilling. Palm trees in the back. Talking about land. Well, you know, the daughter of Babylon need to lay off people. That's the mindset of these people that you work for. And I ain't talking about low-level managers. I'm talking about the owners of corporations. These are the minds that they have. It's strictly business, man. They don't give a damn about you almost starving or about to lose your car, about to lose your house, or you got to feed your kid. They don't care nothing about none of that. It's all about their dollar. And you're not in the inner circle. You're just sheep. You're just sheeple. Right? Something that can easily be destroyed and replaced. And that's at every job. Think you special, you want to. Come in late too many times. Get a boss attitude on the wrong day. They'll show you just how special you are. Right?
All of this fake printing of money wasn't backed by gold, wasn't backed by anything. Wall Street got incredibly wealthy. Average people get screwed. Inflation is high and is going to stay high for the foreseeable future. And the best way to fix it is to keep interest rates high and fire a lot of people. No wonder that China and Russia are running to gold as fast as they can away from the collapsing U.S. dollar. When you see a guy like Larry Summers hanging out on a beach resort telling people they got to lose their jobs in order to fix the economy, that's a big middle finger. That's the news update part of this video. Now, I want to tell you about the sponsor for today's video.
All right, so there you have it. Let me go to the book of Revelation. Revelation chapter 6. And verse 6, it says, "And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine." Right? So that's speaking on the seals. Right? It was, if I'm not mistaken, 7 seals that had to be loosed, and the Lamb was the only one that could do it. This particular seal was dealing with inflation. Check this out. So Revelation 6:6, but I'm going to move to the NLT version and read it. It says, "And I heard a voice from among the 4 living beings saying, a loaf of wheat bread or 3 loaves of barley will cost a day's pay. And don't waste the olive oil and wine." Right? A loaf of bread or 3 loaves of barley will cost a day's pay. That's how high things are going to get in the daughter of Babylon. And who the hell finna go to work, right? Work a whole day to buy a loaf of bread? Who gonna do that? Man, it's finna get... Well, matter of fact, let me tell you how it's gonna get. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15. And let me see. See. So like 1 second. Okay, so 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 14 says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city, and shall not be able, for because of their pride the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods," meaning rob them, "because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation." Right? That's the scene that's being set. But like old boy said, they keep throwing these distractions your way, talking about the playoffs and, you know what I'm saying, the Speaker of the House getting however many votes it needed to, or however many times they had to vote in order to get this dude put into their seat. Right? Just all kinds of nonsense as distractions. Right? I wouldn't be surprised if another celebrity get caught up in some scandal, some out the blue scandal, you know what I'm saying, to take attention away from what's being said about 2023 financially and things that's being said about Ukraine and the people involved. Oh, boy said Condoleezza Rice is a war criminal because of what happened in the Middle East. A lot of people was involved in that, right? But let me see. Let me go to Jeremiah. Let me see. Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 10 says, "But Yahweh is the true power. He is the living power and an everlasting king. At his wrath the earth shall tremble, and the nations shall not be able to abide his indignation. Thus shall ye say unto them, the gods that have not made the heavens and the earth, even they shall perish from the earth and from under these heavens." Right? So whatever it is that you done made your God, even if it's yourself, right? You are the controller of your fate, the controller of your destiny, right? So-called black man say, swallow up and down, he God. Okay, get yourself out the situation then. Right? Straighten things up with the world if you God. Right? Most High said, power is about to destroy a lot of people's gods, and a lot of people's gods is money. So many people brag on the different positions that they have in the daughter of Babylon as though that's supposed to set you above anybody else. And the Most High finna humble that ass real quick. Right? Let me see. Let me go to the book of Isaiah, and I'll end with this. Isaiah chapter 65. And let's see. Yeah, Isaiah 65 and 11, it says, "But ye are they that forsake Yahweh, that forget my holy mountain, that prepare a table for that troop, and that furnish the drink offering unto that number. Therefore will I number you to the sword, and ye shall all bow down to the slaughter. Because when I called, ye did not answer. When I spake, ye did not hear, but did evil before mine eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not. So the majority of the Most High people going to get caught up in what's coming, right? But as far as the elect or the remnant of the Most High's people, verse 13, it says, therefore, thus saith Yahweh power, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. All right? The Most High people are going to be straight. Even if you living directly next door to an individual that is constantly kicking in doors, the Most High's people are going to be straight. All right? Scripture says the angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him. Right? So there's a whole nother dimension of things protecting the Most High's people. We ain't worried about it, because we understand Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai got us. He the one causing all of this, so of course he gonna protect his people. Right? So like 1 second, Alright, so this is the channel I was talking about, Redacted. They go into a lot of information, a lot of news that, the mainstream media is not speaking on, because of who owns the mainstream media and how they want the mindset of the people to be. So, it behooves you to get in on this alternative news while you can, because eventually they're going to stop this. Right? Free speech already been tampered with, if you haven't noticed. So it's going to get to the point to where ain't no more free speech. It is what they say. And if you go against what they say, you're probably going to get locked up. Better check what's going on in China with the social credit system. Right, so with that, man, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ratazah, these precepts in this video were edifying. Kol Holoyim La Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai Ba'Hashem Harakha Kodash Shalom Yashala.